Well,
Well,
good
welcome.
morning, everybody. So excited to be back home. Yay. Before we kind of jump in, just hello to everyone. Obviously, thank you for who's jumping on live, and hi to everyone who's catching the replay. But before we do anything, I would love to just share a massive acknowledgement to Jeff. Jeff, you have just been incredible over the last 3 weeks while I've been away and in hospital, and you have just absolutely stepped up and been there to support everyone, made sure all the team calls ran, and just really just so grateful for your servant leadership, buddy. So thank you. And I'm sure everybody in the team will echo that as well for sure. So look, today, given that I've been in hospital with my son for 3 weeks, today I thought we would actually just do a reset, because I need a reset. Look, I've got notes and, people I've reached out to whilst I was in a hospital, but compared to what I normally do, it was pretty much like a drop in the ocean. Like it was nothing. And so for all of us, we can all sometimes kind of feel like, oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And there's no point in beating yourself up, because you can't change the past, right? And so what I'm inviting all of you to do is join me today, because today is my reset. And the great thing is, being Saturday, it's also the first day of the Dream Trips week, of our weekly rhythm. And that's why we have our calls on a Saturday morning. So don't worry about what's happened in the past or what's not happened in the past, or if you weren't on the top 10 global recruiters, or if your team isn't as big as you thought it would be by now, or if your matrix check last week wasn't as much as you thought it would be. It doesn't matter. Today is a day that you can just literally reset, wipe the slate clean, and let's restart today. So the question is then, when we restart, what do we do? Because it can feel like, who sometimes feels really like overwhelmed, or like, oh my goodness, like all the things, like what do we do? Mira, hello, beautiful lady. Great to see you on. So I thought I'd basically just share my restart plan with you, and invite you to kind of come along for the ride with me. But Jeff has also got some really great stuff that he's going to share around, just the consistency and promotion as well. But before we kind of jump into that, I want to just share, I guess, a concept, and it's amateur versus pro. So an amateur has no consistency. They're always beating themselves up. They're comparing themselves to other people. They're not in the game. They're just all over the shop, right? And look, the last 3 weeks, I've been playing the game of amateur, because that's been, can you guys hear my dogs? They've literally got the zoomies in the background. I'm Burko. Oh my goodness. I got showered with a waterfall of puppy kisses this morning, which I don't know if that was really that pleasant. I was really missing the puppies until this morning. I went, oh, I didn't miss that. But there was lots of love. So amateur versus pro. Now, a pro will treat this like a real business, and it will pay you like a real business. An amateur, it's going to cost you to play. So if you think, look, my ex-husband was a golf pro, it's a really easy analogy. If we rocked up to golf, I had to pay to play. He got paid to play. Very big difference. But he also, hit 1,000 balls a day. And a lot of the shots were crap, but because he hit 1,000 balls every single day with his practice, that's why he was the pro and I wasn't. If I went to practice after 15 minutes, I was bored. So that's why I was an amateur, not a pro, right? And it's the same as this. Like, do you send off 1 or 2 messages and go, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to send it to that person. Oh, what will that person think? Oh, I don't know what to do. Whereas a pro lines up and says, right, this is my game plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is my strategy. So today, I want all of you to make the decision to go pro, and a decision to decide. It's to cut off the alternative, right? Because if you don't decide to go all in and go pro, then you're always going to be an amateur, and it's always going to cost you to play. Now, for those of you who in April put in 4 new people who are still in, guess what? Your fees are waived. Your membership is now free and you get paid to play, which is pretty cool. So if you don't yet have your 4, that should be your first goal. So when it comes to a reset, the first thing is you've got to decide that you're actually going to go pro. And then the second thing is you need to know where you're going, because that's the big thing. You need to have that vision. What are your goals? So my vision is that as a team, we are the 10K club. We help 10,000 people hit 10,000 a month residual income, working less than 10 hours a week, having 10 or more dream holidays a year. Now, it's not $1 million income, but it certainly is $1 million lifestyle. That's my vision. Now, you can join in that vision and say, yes, I want to be part of that vision, or you can choose your own vision, and that's totally fine too. And, you know, Jeff and I have teamed up with our laptop lifestyle brand. So we've got Laptop Lifestyle Dads and My Laptop Lifestyle Queen. We're about to switch that and rebrand it to Laptop Lifestyle Mums. Now, of course, if you're not a mum or a dad, that doesn't matter. You can still be part of the 10K club. That's just the brand that we've gone with because we are a mum and a dad. But that laptop lifestyle, it's what people want these days. Now, that's the brand that we have chosen for us, but you can choose whatever brand you want. That's the beautiful thing about this business. It's your business. It's your life. You get to do it your way. Now, it's also then having those goals. So what's your next goal by the end of this week? And I think this is the problem. We set yearly goals and we set the big goals, but we forget to just bring it back to what's the goal for this week? This week, what's your goal? So if you don't yet have 4, your goal should be to get 4 this week. Now, for some of you who may not have recruited one person yet, that might seem really overwhelming, but with the game plan that Jeff and I are about to give you, it's so possible to do. And especially right now on the weekend, like you got 2 full days, you can have 4 by the end of the weekend. You could help them get their 4 by the end of the week. And now you've suddenly got your 4 plus those 4. You've now got a team of 20 people, and, you know, 20 times, let's just make it, if they were all priorities, 20 times 8, is that 160? 160 US, which is probably about, so cute. What's 160 times 1.5? 260. It's about 300, roughly.
256.
256. 250. So an extra $250. Would that be handy to have an extra $250 a month? Like, that wouldn't suck. I've got to say, guys, like, I was kicking myself while I was in the hospital. I felt like I had this massive handbrake on and I was in this time warp and I couldn't do more. But I've got to tell you, when that residual check came in and I had, you know, not 250, but thousands come into my account, that was life-changing for me. That was just the biggest breath of, oh my goodness. But obviously I didn't do that work for the 3 weeks I was in hospital, but I have done that work in the pre-launch last year and in this whole lead up, which then gave me the income whilst I was in hospital to still be able to cover my mortgage. And for me, like, that was such a weight lifted off my shoulders. But guess what? You can have that too. You know, our Blue Diamond leaders, Shush and Peter and Dr. Wu, like, they hit a 6-figure income in 3 weeks. You guys can do that too. Anything's possible, whether you believe you can or you can't. Either way, you're right. So with the reset, first thing is knowing where you're going, what's your vision, what's your goal for this week. So my personal goal for this week is 10 personals. I'm really clear on that. Now, I could probably do more than 10, but I'm making it 10 because I'm committed to achieving 10 personals this week, 10 or more personals this week, because I also still have a sick child and, you know, readjusting and all the things of, you know, coming into my life. Chris Cummins, hello, gorgeous man. But it's then the consistency of that. So now you've set your vision, you know, where you're going, you've set your goal for this week. You've then got to say, okay, you've put your order out to the universe. That's what I want. Now, how are we actually going to do that? What's the nuts and bolts to actually achieve that? And this is where a lot of people stop. They set their goal and then they kind of go get off the call like this and go, what the frick do I do now? Because they've got no clue. So this is where Jeff and I are going to give you some strategies, some actual things that you can then take away. So I hope you've got your notepads ready to rock. So for me personally, the first thing that I like to do is I love to do a social media post. And as you know, I share my story because facts tell, stories sell. Stories, your story is what's relatable to other people. And you've got to have the courage to be real and raw and authentic and vulnerable, because if you're just selling, people will run a mile. Whereas if you're sharing your story, that's what's impactful and relatable to other people. So you want other people to be reading your story, going, nodding and going, yeah, me too, me too, me too. Oh my goodness, yes, I need that in my life. Okay. So that's my first step. And the other step that Jeff has been doing, oh my goodness, like I am so freaking proud of Jeff for this. One of my mentors many years ago, he said to me, a live a day will keep the paychecks coming your way. And I was like, yeah, whatever, like really? And so I ended up signing up. Look at Chris is working really hard there. He's playing in a sandpit. I just suddenly looked up. So one of Chris's businesses, they do all the maintenance and repair and stuff for childcare centres. So it's good to see you playing in the sandpit there, Chris. You're muted, babe. Oh,
yeah. No, it's a good relaxing 2, 3, 7 hours of shoveling sand a day, because we've got probably about 30 metres of sand we've got to move. It's probably one of the biggest sand pits we've ever moved.
wow.
So there's 4 of us. There's 4 of us and another 2 guys turn up shortly just to try and get it out. Got 6 wheelbarrows shoveling continuously for half a day.
So, Chris, perfect opportunity to do a Facebook Live. I know you probably don't even know how to do a Facebook Live, but if Jacob's there with you, he can help you to be saying, would you rather be shoveling sand or would you rather be talking about going on holidays?
I'd rather be on the holiday.
Well, totally. I'm with you. 100%.
All righty. I'll leave it to your meeting and I'll be listening. I'll be taking notes.
In the sandpit.
In the sandpit, mate. You can do this business anywhere, even on the can.
I love it. And true leadership there, even whilst doing his other business, shoveling sand, still listening to the call. That's so awesome. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so we've done our vision, we've done our goal for this week, social media post, and then the next thing is a Facebook Live. Now, be honest, hands up or let us know in the chat, who freaks out when it comes to doing a Facebook Live? Look, even Chris has got his hand up. He's like, oh my goodness. Chris is like incredible. Chris can go talk to absolutely anyone about anything, put a video in front of his face, and he has a meltdown. So, we're all human, even Chris. So when it comes to doing a live, the first thing is you need to have a plan. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it's just like us setting you up for this week with a reset. What's your plan? Now, you might not want to do a social media post. You might not want to do a Facebook Live. That's okay. We're just sharing what our plan is. And then you can actually create your own plan. You can say, you know what? I have a piece of this and I have a piece of that, but I'm no deal on those few things, but I'm going to do this instead. And we're going to get you to all share your plan by the end of this call. So we're going to just talk about Facebook Lives a little bit. And look, when I did this 21-day live challenge, I don't know if you guys know, but it takes 21 days to form a new habit. It takes 21 days to break old habits. And it's funny, like even just being in the hospital for 21 days, like, oh my goodness, like that's kind of been a reset of a different kind for me. But there were so many things that I'm out of the habit of, which is why I've got to reset myself and get back into my rhythm of, running this business. So when you do something for 21 days consistently, it becomes a habit. And a Facebook Live is a really good habit. But the thing with a Facebook Live is you have to be intentional. You have to know what you're talking about, and it has to be clear and succinct. You don't want to have those long, waffly, you know, I'm waiting for people to jump on, like all that kind of guff. 95% of people will actually watch the replay. They won't even be watching your live. But there's lots of benefits of doing a live. So with a live, what that does is it boosts the Facebook algorithm, because Facebook will actually reward you for having the courage to go live, and they'll show your live and the rest of your social media posts to more people. So you get to reach more people, which is pretty cool. Now, you could literally go live for 1 minute. You could think of what's my one thing that I want to share, and it might be an inspirational post, or it might be a travel destination. You might do a 1 minute live on Bali if you've been to Bali, or a 1 minute live on something that you're excited about, you know, like our Punta Cana trip or whatever it is you can choose. And so it's making sure you know what you're talking about. I like to have 3 key points. So a headline, 3 key points. So it's like, okay, with that, I'm going to talk about and then you want to have a call to action at the end. So what's a CTA? So what's the thing that you want your audience to do at the end? Now, maybe it's just to like the post. Maybe it's to leave a comment. Maybe it's to send you a message. So it doesn't matter what it is, but you want them to take action of some kind at the end of that. Now, it doesn't have to be a salesy call to action. It's what action it might be that you're talking about travel, and the call to action is that they've got to write a bucket list, or they've got to choose what's the one holiday destination that they'd like to do in the next 12 months, something like that. All right. So what I'm going to do, Jeff has been doing so amazing with, before I throw to Jeff about these Facebook lives. The other thing with these lives, I've got to tell you, something magical happens when you do 21 days straight of Facebook lives. So when my mentor said a live a day keeps the paychecks coming your way, I was kind of like a little bit curious. I didn't doubt that it wasn't true because he was $1 million earner, but I was curious as to how that would actually show up as results in my business. But success leaves clues. I listened to my mentor. I followed the system, and I took action, and I committed, and I actually did 26 days of lives, because I actually did, because I'm like, what am I going to do a live on? Like, I was really like, my brain, it was like everything that I knew in my brain just left my brain. And it was like, I can't talk on anything. What am I going to talk about? What can I talk about for 26 days? And I had all these voices in my head trying to come up with all the excuses, but I was committed to still doing it. And so I thought, well, with all of my years of coaching and personal development and inspiration, I'll do the success alphabet. So A to Z, to create, you know, the life that you want, to create success and set yourself up for your best year yet. So I basically just got out my journal, a book like one of these, and I wrote A to Z, and I wrote a word next to each letter. And so A, I think, was attitude. B was belief. C was clarity. D, I don't know what D was, but I basically wrote something for every single letter. And it doesn't, like, I could literally restart that today, right? And you don't have to do an alpha. Yeah, D for dream. I love it. G for goal setting. P for planning. Like, when you start, you'll be surprised how much you actually know about a topic. I mean, you could do the A to Z around the world and pick a country that starts with each letter, and, you know, do it at 26-day lives on different travel destinations. And that's awesome for you too, because you can jump on and, you know, do some research and, you know, find 3 places that they could go. Like, the world is like, you could do anything. There are so many things. It doesn't even have to be about travel. It's you showing up and adding value. But the biggest thing that's going to change by doing these Facebook lives is you. You are going to grow. You are going to have so much more confidence and courage. You're going to communicate clearly. And guess what? every master was once a disaster. Your first live, I'm telling you, is going to suck unless you're Lee Larson. I was so proud. I made Lee do a live, didn't make her, but I strongly encouraged her to go live when we actually launched New Zealand. And I remember Lee was shaking and did her first live on fear and absolutely knocked it out of the park and had like, I don't know, it was like over 1,000 views or something. It was ridiculous. So for those of you who've not done many lives before, or if you've never done a live before, you guys have got an unfair advantage against us who've been doing these for a while, because Facebook goes, oh my goodness, such and such just went live. They never go live, or they've never done lives before. And all of a sudden the world is going to see your live, and it's amazing. But if you're nervous or scared, just say that. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous and scared. Like, you know, my mentor, my leader, my whatever you want, my coach has, you know, challenged me, encouraged me to do this live today. And I'm so nervous. And when you kick off with that, it's amazing. Your audience will love you and support you even more, which is fantastic. So always come from that place. And like, and even me, like, I'm going to say that on my live today, because like, well, I'm it's like if you haven't been to the gym for a long time and then you have to go back to the gym and everything's hard and everything hurts. And it's like, because you haven't been doing it. You haven't, you know, worked those muscles. And it's the same with going live. All right. And so then after those 26 days, or even during those lives, I literally had people, I'd be halfway through a live, not even talking about dream trips. I would have people sending me messages going, what's this dream trips thing that you're in? Like, I need to find out more information. I did a live one day and I had a lady literally message me and go, I have no idea about what you're doing, but sign me up, I'm in. And I'm like, that was just from doing a Facebook live that wasn't even about dream trips. Because remember, people will buy you before they buy dream trips. So this is about you growing as a leader, and people follow leaders. If no one's following you, it's because you're not yet a leader, and we need to build that skill. So every master was once a disaster. You're going to suck to start with, but you don't have to be great to start. You do have to start to be great. And it's 10,000 hours to master anything. I haven't done 10,000 lives, but I've certainly probably done over 1,000. So don't compare yourself to me or Jeff, who've done a lot of lives, because we sucked at the beginning, but we had to work through that, as Jeff calls it, Sucksville to Awesome Town, to be able to get to where we are. And you've got to start somewhere too. Alrighty. So Jeff, sorry, I kind of just rambled on about a whole heap of stuff. So I'll throw to you. Do you have, just on the live part, do you have anything else or any other suggestions that you wanted to share about Facebook Lives?
No, just first off, I just want to say it's so awesome having you back in the driver's seat. It's we've missed you. Thank you very much, and just love your passion and your energy. I'm looking outside and it's very, very dark down here in Tasmania. I'm looking at Chris's and I think it's sunshine already. And I'm thinking, wow, you guys have had sunshine for an hour already and we're only just getting it. So Facebook Lives, guys, just do it. Don't be worried about the results. Don't care about what people think about you. Just do it. You know, good old Nike tick. Just do it. I sucked. I really, really, really did suck when I first started this. But, you know, the minute I just, started talking on camera like I was talking to Sarah and get out of my own way, it's amazing how much more professional you can come across. It's amazing how much more clearer you can come across. And, my number one tip here is I'm looking at my camera right now. I'm not actually looking at my screen. I'm looking at the little green dot, the camera. So I'm talking directly to you, right? Because if I'm talking down like this, straight away, it doesn't seem like I'm engaged. I might be having something really great to say to you, but I'm not connecting with you, right? So this is the next best thing to connect with people on a heart-to-heart level, to connect to people face-to-face. But make sure you're talking to the camera. That's my number one tip make sure you're talking to the camera. And look, I even still today, like I did a really great live yesterday. And I did basically on the caution, if you join a travel club, you will be forced to go on some awesome holidays. And got some really great messages out there. And I didn't have too many comments on the live, but what I did have was I had 4 people reach out to me privately and say, Jeff, tell me more about this club. Now, I love to talk. You probably all know that already. And when I get nervous, I love to waffle and I repeat myself. You know, my dyslexia kicks in. But guess what? That's okay. You know, you got to start somewhere. My Facebook Lives, when I started, I could say the same topic and I'd say it 5 different times, different round, and it would take me half an hour to do the live. Now I'm getting my lives down to 10 minutes because I'm forcing myself, even some of them down to 2 minutes, because I'm forcing myself to make sure I'm more impactful. But that's only coming through practice, right? I've probably only done maybe 100 lives in the last 90 days, but that's coming through practice. So you'll get better at it the more you do it. It's like riding a horse. So yeah, just get out there and just commit to the next 26 days, 21 days, whatever that is for you. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about how great you are. You know, just get out there and do it. So, you know, just want to talk about, you know, resetting and your plans as well. So move on to that. And I just did some math. Like I'm one of these guys that likes to, you know, have a goal. That's great, but how do I achieve that goal? What are the action steps? I wanted to break that down. And, you know, if you guys who are doing 4, you know, who your goal is for 4, get your first 4. Now, this is a very conservative number on conversions. I'm going off of my sort of like an educated guess, going off of my numbers for the last 3 months. I reckon it's about a 25% conversion rate for most people because we're nervous, we're fluffing around, we're tripping over our feet. Someone who like Kylie and Chris, it could be 50, 60% conversion. But let's go on to 25% conversion. If you got to get 4 people this week, that means you need to share the video 16 times. Now, to get 16 times to share the video, you probably got to talk to times that by 4 as well. So what's that? 16 times that by 4 is 64. So divide that by 7. That's 9 people a day that you need to reach out to. So that ain't hard.
Put up to 10.
Yeah, that ain't hard. I'm sure you've all got 10 people a day that you can reach out to. Just reach out to them and just start a conversation. Hey, how you going? Leave it at that.
Hey, how you doing? You can even sing it to them. Do little voice messages.
Yeah. Just reach out to 64 people. Now, so for myself, like my goal is I'm going to go better than Kylie. I'm going to roll 20 people this week. So I'm going to double it. So, right. So if I want to do that, how do I break those numbers down? Well, for me to share 20 people this week, that means I need to share 80 videos, you know, going on that 25% conversion. So 80 times that by 4 means I need to, you know, talk to 320 people for the week. So it's just a numbers game. That's what I want to point out here. So, you know, now I know that what my numbers are, I can go, okay, right. Well, I need to talk to at least 46 people a day. The numbers, right? Just play the numbers. Now, so, you know, how am I going to break those numbers down? How am I going to reach out to 46 people a day? Well, I'm going to do my Facebook Live a day. I'm going to do a bare minimum of 4 posts a day, like on different content. I'm going to repurpose the live and turn that into a YouTube video. I'm going to consistently follow up with people. And that's the next thing I want to talk to you about is follow up. And I'm going to promote the team calls and connect with my team and help them to get their 4 as well. Because that's not just me getting 20 personals. That's me and my team getting 20 personals. So there you go. That's just a bit of a quick snapshot on just basically, you know, how I've broken down my goals. I like to, you know, break it down, and then I like to focus on the action steps, not the results. So now I know my numbers, I can just go focus and play the game, and the results will come because it's about consistency. You know, those old water pumps used to have to pump by hand, pump and pump and pump and pump, you know, and it took you maybe 10 minutes to get the water to come out of the tap. This game is exactly like that. The minute you stop pumping that pump and you stop doing what you're doing, all of that momentum that took that to get that water up the pipe goes back down into the well. And then if you play the stop, start game, you're going to have to continue to get pump before you start seeing results again. But if you're consistent and you just reach out to, you know, if you've got to slow down like Kylie had to do for the last 3 weeks, and instead of doing 40 people a day, she maybe slowed down to just 5 or 10 people a day. It would have not necessarily, you know, yes, some of the water's going to go back out into the well, but it still would have been trickling through. The results would trickle instead of this whole stop, start process. And I'm the master of doing this. I'm guilty of it. So this is why I have been so in action this last 90 days, because I'm sick of the stop, start. So my recommendation to you is just get out of your own way. Forget about the results. The results will come if you focus on the actions and you're consistent every single day. You've got to make it a non-negotiable. I make it so much like I don't go to sleep until I've hit my KPI. You know, I do not go to sleep. And I know you've heard everybody else, every other guru, master, whatever you want to call them, say exactly the same thing. And I used to think, oh yeah, sure, yeah, right. But it's not until you get into action and you make it a non-negotiable that you really get it and understand what everybody else is talking about. So whether you understand it right now or not, just make it a non-negotiable. You know, success leaves clues, as Kylie just said. And this is one of those clues. You know, just there's only difference between Kylie and me is she's got more experience than I. She's a little bit further down the road. The only difference between Lee and me is we've got a bit of experience and one of us are a little bit further down the road, depending on what we're talking about, right? We've all got our own experience. There's no way I could do what Lee does and manage 100 people in her team with for farmers, you know, but she's got massive experience in that journey. So she's a little bit further down the path than I am on that one. And, you know, Chris, right? Like he's a self-made millionaire. So success leaves clues. Follow the leaders that you aspire to be like, and just do what they do. I wish I got out of my own way when I first started and I listened to Kylie and I did what she did. But, you know, some of us have got to fall over our own feet and get a bit scuffed up and then humble ourselves before we do that. So I totally get it. Yeah, you will get there if you continue to it. But just follow the people who are in the trenches with you and doing what they're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. We're going to come back to the follow-up bit, but so many gold nuggets in there. And I think the biggest thing, just the last thing that Jeff just shared there for all of you, comparitis is a killer. And it's so easy to get sucked into comparitis, comparing yourself to someone else. Now, there's a healthy comparitis and there's an unhealthy comparitis. So I compare myself to Shush and go, success leaves clues. What's he doing that I'm not? And how can I be more like him, but in my way? So it's not saying he's better than me. Oh my goodness, I suck. No, I'm going, he's going faster than me. What can I learn from him? What's he doing that I'm not doing? So I can then go do that. But it's not that I suck. It's from a learning and how can I, you know, follow someone who's being more successful than me, going faster than me. But it's not oh, he's better than me and I suck, right? So I just wanted to really clarify that. So I just wanted to come back to the Facebook Lives. I've actually just found in one of our courses, we have a live success checklist. Now, I will share this in the group after the call, but I just thought that this might be helpful to just share this with you guys. Jeff, can you see that?
Sure can.
Awesome. Okay. Not sure of how big that is, and I apologize if you're on your phone, but essentially with your live, when you're planning it, and this is very detailed. Like I don't do this checklist, like write it out and tick it off. Like I just do this. What I did is someone said to me one day, oh, how come you're so good at lives? And I'm like, I don't know. And I thought about all the things that I did because this is one of the things in my genius zone. And so I actually just took everything and wrote it all down into a checklist of all of the things that I would do. Again, you don't have to do all of it. But again, if you want to bake a cake from a famous chef, you follow the recipe, you have all the ingredients and you do it step by step. Well, this is my ingredients and this is how I do it step by step, even though now this is just on autopilot. So first of all, set your intention. Why are you doing a live? Like be really clear about that. This is for you so that you're intentional. So you're doing the live to add value, but most importantly, to connect with people to grow your DreamTrips business. Who's your target audience? So if you were going to do a live and you could have just your dream clients or your dream team, future team business partners watching that, who is your live for? Who do you want to attract into your team? Because you want to make sure that you're doing a live specific to the people that you want to target. And I actually like to choose one person. So for example, Lee was someone who was my target audience. And so I would think, okay, I'm going to share this live video just for Lee. And you can literally think about that. Who are the people in your life that you would absolutely love to have in your team? And let's just say it's Alison. Do the live as if you're talking and this is just for Alison. And then after your live, you could even share it with Alison in a private message, say, hey, Alison, like I just did a Facebook live today. And just, you know, as I was finishing, I was thinking, wow, maybe this could add some value to you. How powerful is that? You could literally do one of those every single day, right? Compelling headline. You might have the world's best Facebook live, but if you don't have a compelling headline that hooks someone in and creates that curiosity, they might never actually watch your live video. And it's why you've got to, and again, this will happen with practice. It's why as much as possible, you want to cut out the waffle and be really concise and intentional in your live, so that no matter where someone comes in on your live, it's still going to make sense and add value. But again, don't overthink that part of it. Just share, you'll get better as you go. So then, do you have an introduction, a hook, or a story that you want to share? So to be really masterful at presenting, and you'll see this, it's an NLP trick. And I call it a trick because it really is a trick. They'll start. So let's just say at the beginning, I say, so I'm going to share the 3 ways that you can make $10,000 a month online working less than 10 hours a week. And you might, and then you'll go off and do something else. So now what I've done is I've planted in your brain that I'm going to share 3 things. Now your brain needs to know what those 3 things are. Or you might share 1, 2, and I'm going to come back to the 3rd one in a second. And then you start a story. Now your brain is going to stay tuned in because you want to know what that 3rd thing is. It's going to annoy the crap out of you if you now don't know what that 3rd thing is. Or if you share a part of a story at the beginning and say, but I'm going to circle back and tell you what happens at the end. It's how they get you back, you know, in Netflix series and movies, and they keep you tuned in because they're just giving you a part. And your brain needs to know how the story ends. You need to know what happened. You need that 3rd point. So look, that's a really advanced trick, and it is a trick, but it does keep people engaged to watch to the end. And then at the very end, just do a really quick summary, because if someone's come in at the end and they've missed the beginning, you want to say, so just a quick recap. So those 3 points were bump, bump, bump. And now here's what I want you to do. So what's that 1 call to action? How many calls to action? It's not 3, it's not 5 things, it's 1. Just 1 thing that you want them to do. Now, if we actually, so that's kind of the planning. So now let's break it down to what are the key points for your checklist. So number 1, what do you look like? You can't sell the dream looking like a nightmare, but I'm saying that you also want to be real and raw. You don't have to be perfect, professional, pretty, polished. Real and raw is powerful. I've done lives where I look like a nightmare intentionally because that's actually part of the message. But obviously just be mindful of what you look like. Environment is a big thing. So you can see right now, I've actually got 2 ring lights. I've got a light here and a light there, plus I've got a window here. So you can see I'm very well lit. Now, don't let this stop you from doing a live. I'm just going to turn my lights off. And I've actually got lights above me as well. So it's even without my ring lights, I'm fairly well lit here. But make sure that what I used to do before I went live on my phone, I'd just do a selfie and take a photo and then look at my photo to say, what's that lighting like? Does that work? You know, what's in my background as well? Because you might have, you know, if you're outside, you might have like a big dumpster in the background, like just move 2 meters and have something else that's a little bit nicer as a background. Audio. So it's really important. Don't do an audio by the road because you're going to have road noise. So you want to limit the noise. If you're using your phone these days, smartphones have really good microphones anyway. But if you're at home, and again, don't let this stop you, but you may choose to invest. Jeff and I have both got, you can see there, this is just a blue Yeti mic, which can basically help. So it can make you sound like a really sexy radio announcer if you choose to. Okay. So, and then branding. So what's your brand? Like I've got everything for me is pink and teal. I've got my turtles because, I think I'm a mermaid. So what do you want to have in the background? You can see like I've got like teal and pink and a mermaid and, all my personal development books here. I've got my desk set like in the back of my my home here in a corner, because that way I know if you saw my desk right now, like it's a freaking nightmare. There's shit everywhere. There's 3 weeks of mail and stuff, and I've come home and dumped all the stuff on my desk. So my desk looked like a nightmare, but you can't see that. If I had all paperwork and shit in the background, you'd be like, oh, she doesn't look very organized. But I know I can sit here with no notice and my background looks good because it's already set up. I set it up once. So that's really, create a little corner in your house that you can sit and do a background, or go out into your garden, or, down if you've got like a favorite walk that you do or something like that. And then you can start combining other positive habits. So you might go for a walk, and I used to do my daily dose of kick-assity. So when I went on my morning walk, I'd do a Facebook Live. Sometimes it was only a couple of minutes, but I did my walk, and that was actually your suggestion, wasn't it, little buddy? Zach came up with that idea to do a live while I did my walk, and it showed everyone else that I was doing my exercise and I was doing my live at the same time. Be prepared. So obviously you can create this sheet. Once you experience, you don't even have to do this sheet because it's just on autopilot. You just know what to do. But when you're starting, this is a really good little checklist. Promote your lives. So you can actually do a live. So you can do a post to promote your live. You can, pop it into the, into the message chat, the Facebook group. But again, the most important thing is just go live. So if you don't promote it, it doesn't matter. I usually delete my promotion post for my live after I go live anyway, so it doesn't stay in my news feed. But you can do that. And give engagement. So this is another way to wake up or tickle the Facebook algorithm. 10 minutes before you go live, start messaging some people, give them a wave. I don't even know if you can give a wave anymore, but, do some highs in Messenger. So do like 10, hey Lee, how you going? Hey, just letting you know I'm about to go live. No, I'm doing a live on something that I thought might be of interest to you. And also jump on 10 posts, give them a like, give them a comment, obviously, authentically. And again, if you give engagement, you're going to get engagement back, because then it'll come up in their notifications that you've just gone live, and then they're more likely to jump on if you've just given them a nice comment or sent them a little message. So then whilst you're on the live, be excited, have fun, show up with faith, courage, and enthusiasm. And as Jeff said, maintain eye contact with that little dot, or on your phone, it's the little dot here, rather than looking at yourself. So right now, I don't even know what I look like, because I'm looking at the dot on the top of my screen. And posture, like if you're like this versus like this, like shoulders back. What else have we got there? Smile, introduce yourself, and be authentically you. When you do your lives, you want to make sure that your audience is selected to public. So that way people can share your live as well, and anyone can watch it, even if they're not your Facebook friend. That's really important. So that's why you want to introduce yourself. It can be really simple at the beginning, just, hi, I'm KickAss Kylie. Or you might want to do a little bit more. Jeff does a really good intro on his, introducing himself as the laptop lifestyle dad, and a little tagline. Don't make your intro like, too long or a minute, like it just really short, succinct, because then if someone who doesn't know you is watching your live, they then know who you are. Now, the other thing is acknowledge live and replay viewers, because 95% of your people will actually catch the replay. So I usually, do my little, hey, let me know in the comments if you're catching this live or if you're watching the replay. And hey, hi, you can see who jumps on. So if you can do some names and acknowledge people, Lee, oh my goodness, it's so great to have you on live with me. Or if you're catching the replay, hey, thank you so much for catching the replay. Give me a hashtag replay in the comments. So yeah, thank and acknowledge people and make sure that you add value. So Jeff could jump on, for example, and do dad joke of the day. Jeff could actually kick off his live videos and say, and I've got a brand new dad joke for you. I'm going to share at the end. And then people have to watch to the end to get the dad joke. Or maybe you got 2 dad jokes. Engage and educate. So you want people to engage with you. Ask questions, because the more people engage in your live and write comments and answer questions to what you're talking about, one, they're more likely to stick to the end because they are engaged with you. They feel that you're actually talking, you're working with them rather than talking at them. And it also boosts the algorithm. So let me know, like, what are you learning from what I'm going through with you now? Like, what have kind of been some of your aha moments that you're getting with regards to 5 Ps? Prior planning prevents poor performance, or 6 Ps. Prior planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah, proper planning. Yeah, proper planning.
Love it. Okay, and then your post checklist. So this is so important. So if you haven't got anything yet, you want to make sure that you go back and you personally thank everyone who's commented. Give it a love, reply to their comment. Reach out to people as a private message and thank them for watching your live and start a conversation. Hey, Lee, thank you so much for jumping on live. How are you? And then start a conversation around that. Because remember, we're in the business of having connected conversations. This is a great conversation starter. Also, go back and edit your post. So if you've talked about anything, you can kind of do a little summary. You can also add any links into, but don't share those before the live. Go back and edit your post and do them after the live. If you have a link in your description for a live video, it will actually be shown to less people. So go back and do the links after, or leave the links in the comments rather than in the post is even better. You can also go back and edit the title, and you can change the thumbnail of your video. So when you go back to your news feed, Facebook will automatically choose what graphic they're going to share as your live thumbnail. And sometimes they've caught you in a really like horrible pose. So you can go back and you can edit that. You also want to share your live on other pages. I don't actually know if you can do a watch party anymore. That's how long ago this checklist was done. But you can share your live if you've got a Facebook group, or something that Jeff and I do. You can actually download your live and then you can upload it to other channels. So if you're doing a live on Facebook, you might want to upload it to YouTube or onto LinkedIn or onto Instagram. You might want to chop it up and put it on TikTok. Like, you can repurpose that video content to get it across more platforms as well. You also want to give yourself, because feedback is the breakfast of champions, you also want to review it. Re-watch your live video. If you can't stand watching yourself, what can you learn? But acknowledge yourself for what you did well. And first and foremost, acknowledge yourself that you actually went live. And then how can you improve for future videos? And then that will give you, once you've done a live, it's amazing. You'll do a live and think of 5 other things that you could have shared. Well, there's your next 5 live videos that you can do. So lots and lots of info there. And I'm mindful of time. So we kind of, Jeff and I just know the power of Facebook Lives. So we wanted to go on a bit of a deep dive with that today. But real quick, just to come back to strategy. So in my little step-by-step checklist here, so for the reset, remind myself of my vision. What's my goal for this week? Social post daily, Facebook Live daily, 10 messages a day. I also, in addition to those, I've got my little AI bots working in the background that we talked about last week. So I've got my bot sending out birthday messages. That's another conversation starter. I've also got my bot who's reaching out to new people to create new connections as well. And here's the key, guys. The fortune is in the follow-up. So if you've been sharing your 5-minute video, there will be so many people that you can now circle back to, and they will all be in your rapid funnel app. So we've got some follow-up scripts inside of our Facebook group, but so important that you reach back. And for me, I have got so many people, especially now we've got our $1 promo has been extended till the end of June. I had someone on our team yesterday message me and say, oh my goodness, is that $1 promo been extended for June? It's like, oh my goodness, like, yes, we're 9 days in. And I felt so bad because I hadn't let them know personally and they hadn't been on the calls. Now, look, I know that we promote it all the time, but that's where those reach outs one-on-one is so important. And for those of you who do have team members, reach out to them, check in. How are you? Now, again, I've sucked at that for the last 3 weeks for obvious reasons, but that's another thing that I need to do this week is to reach out to all of my personals as well and just check in. Hey, Jeff, how you going? Hey, Lee, how you going? You know, and have a look like who's got their for, who needs help to get their for. Because it makes no difference to me whether I personally recruit someone or if I help Lee recruit someone, because financially I'm going to make the same amount of money whether I join someone up or I help Lee join someone up. So that's super important as well. Jeff, I know that we've got some extra things that we need to promote. So I'm going to hand over to you to do the little promotions of all the things.
Cool. Can I just get a screen share capability, please?
Oh, have I not given you that? I'm so sorry.
That's
One
right.
moment, please.
Got a couple of images that I just want to share from our Global Connect call, guys. Now, if you're not on those Global Connect calls, every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Queensland time, I'm not sure off the fly what the time conversions is for our international peeps. But yeah, make sure you get on those calls. And also, for those who are on this call today, thank you. We love you. If you're not on this call and you're catching the replay, can I encourage you? Like, if you've got to get up early, do that. Like, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're at least on this call and on our Travel Tuesday calls, because they are how we stay warm by the fire. They are how we stay charged up. As I say, I've been involved with the Dream Trips now for the last 18 months. The first 12 months, I was a little bit slow getting started, but I plugged in every single week. I was connected with my mentor, with Kylie and Chris, every single day, and I just was able to stay charged up, warm by the fire. And now that's why I'm now one of the #1 global recruiters here in Australia. I mean, that would not have happened.
I was just on that yesterday. I sent Jeff a message. I felt sick to the stomach. Yesterday was the first DTI connection call that I had missed in,
It's like,
I think, ever. And I had FOMO. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Message me back and forth. What did I miss? What did I miss? So I had to give Kylie an update. But yeah, like, that's what happens, right? Like, this is our business. Treat it like a business. Don't treat this like a hobby. If you really want to have this lifestyle that you joined up for, like traveling around on an awesome dream trip once a month, going to Fraser Island, and what is it, guys? About 11 days, 9 days, like the countdown's on. We're all going to be meeting up at Fraser Island with Mark and Tammy Smith in 10 days. Some of us are going to be able to connect together in probably about 8 or 9 days because we're getting there earlier. Can't wait. Like, I just got goosebumps waiting for that. So, plug in, because you're not going to know about these trips unless you plug in. You're not going to get awesome training like Kylie just delivered unless you plug in. You're not going to get action. You're not going to get traction unless you plug in. So plug into these calls, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. is our Travel Tuesday. All about travel. No business, just travel. Chris and I have got some really awesome trips planned up. I know Chris was planting the seeds there for the Northern Territory trip, flying to Darwin, hiring a couple of 4-wheel drives. Chris is the man when it comes to the territory. He used to be a tour operator up around that way, so knows it like the back of his hand and knows all the little secret places where you can get the great waterfalls and the 4-wheel drive experience. And like Chris and I were looking on the internet this week, and you can literally hire a 4-wheel drive and drive it from Darwin to Perth for how long it takes you, but you can hire it for $1 a day. How's great's that? So that's how we find out about these great deals on Travel Tuesday. Chris is the master and find the great deals when it comes to flights. So, I'll feed back to Chris there just before we wrap up, just so he can really help us promote Travel Tuesday. So, Chris, I've just given you that little heads up there, mate. You can stop shoveling for 2 seconds. Travel Tuesday, mate. What are you looking forward to for this week? Tuesday coming. Sorry, and you're still muted there, mate.
Yeah, no, just come back. Well, I haven't really got into anything planned for Tuesday at this stage. But the thing I've really been looking at and looking really hard on is building a couple of these 3-day, 4-day trips all around Australia, because there's absolute bucket loads of destinations. I used to have a contact. And New Zealand. Yeah, well, I go to New Zealand every year as well. So it's one of those things that I think we can plan some really quick getaways that aren't going to cost us too much money. Everybody get a chance to meet everybody and build our team as socially as much as we are building it business-wise. And I think once we get a lot more people socialising in amongst us as a group, it'll also add with that little bit of confidence that this is all coming together the way we want it to. So travel is the key. So we'll put together some holidays, some trips. As Jeff Rose was saying, we did a bit of research during the week, and there's a lot of different little packages, if we're a little bit flexible, that we can save a lot of money, do a lot of trips, and we can just add it to the portfolio. I'm really looking forward to seeing Mark and Tammy and Fraser, because I want to pick their brains on what we've got to build as a trip, so they can make it an official dream trip. And then that way can also add to your loyalty program, where if you do 5 trips, you get another free cruise. So basically what we're going to try and do is see if we can't get Australia also pumping out one every 2 months of holidays around the country. The other thing with the holidays around locally is that it's easy to grab somebody who's just joined the club and say, oh, come and join me in Fraser, or come and join me in Adelaide. We're going down to Barossa and we're going down to the winery. Come join me in Fremantle Markets over in Perth. Come join me in Melbourne. We're doing a coffee and dining experience all through Melbourne. Come meet us in the Blue Mountains. We're having a 3-day trekking around the Blue Mountains.
Facebook Live, doing your Facebook Live promoting the next event. There you go, guys. Chris has just got it. There you go.
So what we're really trying to do on this travel thing is, one, get an interest for all of us, because without the community, we can't book these trips. So we need to have at least 30, 50 people on every single one. So that way we can start getting consensus of where people want to go. Then once we can build them, then we can take them back to Mark and Tammy and say, listen, this is where our group wants to go. Then we'll throw it into their team to help us book it. They'll pick up discounts as well as the ones that we research. So all of a sudden you've got a trip that should be costing you $2,500. It might only cost you $1,000. So that's the principle behind it. That's the reason why we're trying to get the travel club together. Anybody can do one of these little trips because they won't be expensive. So I think it's another way of making it more relatable for these people that you're talking to on a regular basis. So Travel Tuesday is going to be a really big thing, because there's a lot of momentum coming behind that. So thanks for your meeting today, guys, because I've got a lot out of it. We're going to do a Facebook Live here in the sandpit once the other boys do.
Love it. Let's do it. Let's get behind Chris and support him.
Mate, I've actually got like 5 people here, so I can even have an audience. It's like they cheer me on through the bloody Facebook Live.
Love it. Not everyone. See, Chris doesn't do anything by halves. For his first Facebook Live, he's got his own audience.
Pulling the team. There you go. Thank you, Chris, for helping us promote Travel Tuesday. Can't wait to host that call with you again on Tuesday. It's going to be a brilliant call.
For Travel Tuesday, you can invite anyone. They don't have to be a member.
Not just you can invite all your prospects, interested parties. Bring them along. Let's set up your family room, get the TV hooked in if you're technically minded like myself, and a bit of trickery there, and get the TV to watch on Travel Tuesday. Like, let's get as many people as we can plugged into that call, because that is really going to be one of our awesome tools to help us build this business and really promote it. Now, I am aware that we're past 8 o'clock. I've just got 2 more things that I want to wrap up the call with. So let me just share my screen here with you quickly. So if you weren't on the Global Connect call, you would have missed out on that. So, but I just want to make sure that you don't miss out on these 2 things. Punta Cana. Myself, Kylie, and Chris, we're seriously looking at how can we make this work. We've got to be there to at least represent Australia and New Zealand, and we want as many of you guys to come with us. So please, if you're serious about coming to Punta Cana, please reach out to myself, Kylie, or Chris, and let's see what we can do to make this happen. As Chris has been doing some homework for us to see how we can get the best flights. We're looking at putting a package deal together so we can go and tick off not just 1 dream trip, but 2 or 3 dream trips, or maybe even 4 dream trips, because there are a couple of dream trips that actually match up. There's perfect timing here. I know that before August the 9th, we've got a really awesome dream trip in New Orleans and Louisiana. And then after the 9th and the 13th, we've got a dream trip in Hong Kong. So we might be able to get creative with our flights here and go and spend 2 weeks and tick off 3 dream trips. And that's going to be why we joined this club, right? Let's go traveling. So, to go there to Punta Cana for the first anniversary, guys, you got to get this. This is a huge milestone. This is our 1-year anniversary. We officially launched August last year. The whole team of all around the world, DreamTrips International, are going to converge on this resort. It's going to be a resort takeover, and we're going to have a massive 4-day party. But that's not just, that's going to be the fun side of it, right? Why I'm going is because I need to be on the images. I need to be on the videos. I need to be there representing us. And I highly encourage you to do the same thing, because I know without equivocal doubt that this is going to launch my business to the stratosphere 100 times over. Because, not just the clout that brings, people are going to see, and I don't swear often, but I'm going to swear right now. People are going to see, fuck, Jeff is serious about this business. He's just flown over all the way to Punta Cana, the other side of the world, to go to be there at the 1-year anniversary. So there's that. Then that's that milestone. And then every year we have an anniversary. In 10 years' time, we are going to be able to officially say that we were there when it started. We were the founding members of this club. Do you guys get that? I got goosebumps right now. Do you get that? This is like, we're pioneers here, but we're founding members. This is something magical. We're riding the wave here. We're even on, not the wave hasn't actually haven't even really started. We're only just starting to get going. Like this massive PR that they're going to pull out of this Punta Cana trip. They're going to launch a TV series like on a YouTube. They're going to put together like a magazine content. They're going to put together like, newsletter content. We need to be seen to be there to be able to help represent this business. So let's do what we've got to do. Let's move heaven and earth to get to Punta Cana. Now, just on that, you probably think, shit, Jeff, I haven't got $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 that I can just pull out and go to Punta Cana. And let's be honest, to be able to do what we're doing, it's probably going to be around that 7K mark. Guys, I'm taking my family to Fraser Island, the 5 of us. It's not a cheap trip to go to Fraser Island from Launceston to Fraser for the 5 of us. I had no idea. Kylie and I on the phone saying, I've got to be at Fraser. I've got no idea how I'm going to get there. I haven't got the money right now, but I know it's going to happen. And there were times, I got to admit, there were times on Kylie and going, I fucking don't know how I'm going to make this happen. I had breakdowns over it. But guys, guess what? It's happened. I didn't need to know about the how. The how happens when you just put it out there. God, law of the universe, whatever you want to call it, put it out there and say you're going to be there, do or die, and things just happen. So do the same for this Punta Cana trip. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I know, without a doubt, I'm going to be there. So let's go to Punta Cana and let's take over and represent Australia and New Zealand. And for those guys who are part of our team that are already in America and all that, guys, you got to be there as well. Let's go represent the 10K club. Now, one of the things about plugging in and learning how to master this game and treat this like a professional and a business is making sure that you do get on to these trainings. I have been a digital marketer for the last 14 years. Over the last 14 years, I reckon I could go back and I could calculate I've spent well over 100 grand in training. Guys, you get this training for free. Like, these are world-class stage speakers like you'd see on TED Talk that you would pay $10,000 a weekend to go be with. We're getting Martin Ruoff, self-made millionaire in this industry. We've got Hadia, I can always pronounce it, Hadiata.
Adiatu.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, but Hadiatu. Like, she's such a charismatic person. I just love her energy. She's so infectious. And we've got Micaiah. Micaiah was on our global call last Friday. He hosted it. And he's one of our new diamonds. And he's
Micaiah is on fire.
Micaiah's on the fire. Micaiah's one of these guys that have been in this industry since he was a young whippersnapper. He's grown up in the industry. But he's just like, the guy is, I think about 26, 27. He speaks like he's got the wisdom of a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old. Like, he's just got so much wisdom to share. So please come along to the DTA call. Myself and Kylie, we were on the last one. We were up, yes, look, you're going to be up till midnight, till probably 3 a.m. in the morning, but it is worth the time and effort. I'll be doing it myself. I'll be on this one again because I just can't miss out. I'm addicted to this stuff now. So let's get addicted together, because if you're going to be addicted to something, you might as well be addicted to something that's going to help you to achieve your dreams, right? So let's go. Let's do this. Thank you very much for joining on today's call. We truly appreciate you. And Kyle or Chris, have you got any final words that you want to share with us, or we're good to wrap up?
No, amazing.
Lee has some words to share. Let's give the spotlight to Lee for 2 seconds.
Hey guys, it's been awesome this morning. I've got so many creative juices flowing of all the lives and what I need to do, because I want to I want to display being the part-time, I don't know, not part-time princess. That's what's coming to my head for some weird reason, but it's not going to be that. But something along those lines to demonstrate how you can do this part-time, right? But I just quickly wanted to say as well, Jeff, for the trips and Fraser Island and all that stuff, and just remember, if you're not coming to Fraser Island this time, use our content, use our pictures, and display the fact that your team is going on a holiday and how much you'd wish to be there and all of that other stuff. I completely did that with Hawaii, and just shared stories of the team going across to Hawaii. So I think that's super important as well, that just because you're not going doesn't mean that you can't promote other people going. Share our, because we're going to be saying we're in the airport lounge, share that with people, or whatever. And that you're excited to go into your first airport lounge, and what are you looking forward to? So I just wanted to add that nugget this morning for those brilliant people that couldn't get there for whatever reason, and no judgments or nothing, but you can still promote these things, because I definitely will be promoting the places that I can't get to for my own reasons. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's brilliant, Lee, and that's exactly what we should all be doing when we first start this business. Exactly what I did. I know that's what Kylie did. And just because you're not on a dream trip doesn't mean you can't use your other people's testimonials and product reviews and all of that sort of thing. So leverage this. Just because you're not going to be there, say for example, Magical Man's, you're not going to be there at Fraser, when we'd love to have you there. We're going to miss you, but you can definitely leverage our content that we're going to put out there. You just have to put your spin on it and say, look, guys, just awesome. Join this awesome travel club. My friends and family, they're all at Fraser at the moment. I so wish I was there, but for whatever reason, I can't make it. And, but I know that I'm going to be there at the next one. And, here we go. Just share the highlights. Yeah. Sell the story. The story sells. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time today.
Chris, did you want to have a final word too, babe? I saw you unmuted before.
Yeah, just touching base on what you two guys are going on. Action creates stuff, guys. We just got to be a bit more active. It's part of our lives now, and once you make it part of your life, it's not it takes like 30 days to make it routine. So you got to push yourself for that first 30 days. But once you start getting in that routine, these things will just fall into place. So action will create a bit of a result. you get a bit more result, you get a little bit more excited about it. So hang in there, everybody. It's going to be a bit of a journey, and the journey is the whole fun part of it. And I tell you now, 5 years from now, when we're sitting on a dream trip, absolutely running the place because we're Australians, we'll be sitting there and we'll be just telling the world just how our journey was getting to where we are. And we'll be people that people want to aspire to because we will be successful at this. So hang in there. Rome wasn't built in a day. I wasn't the foreman on that job, but I'm sure if we all stick at it, it's going to get a great result. So stick in there, get the routine happening, and the rest falls into place. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. And Aussies and Kiwis, just for Lee. So, guys, there's one call to action for you. I want to see your reset plan in our team chat, or if you're watching the replay, in the comment to this video, and please tag myself, Chris, and Jeff so that we can actually see what your reset plan is. So that's your number one piece of homework. Create your reset plan and share it so that we know what your reset plan is. All right, guys. Well, as we say in Dream Trips, let's go. Woo.